Is Alister Vallejo the next Mason Graham? Let's dig into his highlights in today's video. Alister Vallejo is almost a clone of Mason Graham. There are so many comparisons that we can make here, Ryan. He's so gifted. What stands out to you?
I mean, the whole backstory is really fascinating. We'll get into that a little bit more down at the end of the video. But like as a player, Joe, 6'3", 310 pounds, and he does all of the things that you would expect a 6'3", 310-pound junior in high school to do well, right? Like he's physical at the point of attack, he's got strong hands, but the flexibility and the movement skills in tight areas is what really makes him a different type of player, in my opinion, right? Like this is not just a point of attack player. I think that he could be a penetration style player. I think he could be a two gap if you needed him to. This is just a really impressive, versatile interior defensive lineman that has been one of the biggest risers in the 2026 recruiting class.
Yeah, I'm shocked. This is one of those guys that you watch his tape and you think, man, why isn't he graded higher? He is a high 4-star right now, rated the 242nd player in the class, the 32nd defensive lineman. But the comparisons that we make to Mason Graham are so easy. There's some plays on tape where he's flashing this flexibility that's hard to come by in high school recruits. And he also has tremendous power for a defensive tackle of his age. I love everything about him, and it's, no shock that we're going to see a player coming from Texas where he's played that he is going to translate pretty early on in his career wherever he ends up playing.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just such an easy evaluation overall. I mean, and we'll talk about it again in the recruiting breakdown, but this is a player that I don't see a massive hole in his game, right? Like maybe he's not the longest guy of all time, but on the interior defensive line and the ability to establish leverage, I'm not really overly concerned about that with the style he plays, right? Like he has the hand strength, he has got the lower body explosiveness, he's got everything in the toolbox to be a really upside run defender, but I really do think there's a lot of untapped potential of him as a pass rusher, as an interior penetrator, because he really does have a good quality first step. He is flexible. He's able to win one-on-one matchups. I'm really high on this player as an all-around defensive lineman and a difference maker on the college level.
To just tap into his background, as you mentioned, he is a 4-star recruit from Liberty Hill, Texas, 6'3", 310. And then some of his stats from 2024, 51 tackles, 9 tackles for loss, 7 sacks, 16 QB hurries. He was also a tremendous participant in shot put. So he's got that explosive capability like we see with some of these lineman recruits that they're generating force out there in the field events for track and field. What other background do you have here on Vallejo?
I mean, it was just several weeks ago that Vallejo wasn't even ranked by a couple of the major recruiting platforms. And he was pretty much, if he was ranked, he was a low 3-star level player. And he has consistently just gotten more and more traction this offseason by a host of schools from across college football, and we've steadily seen now his recruiting ranking rise. I would not be shocked if this kid is a top 150 consensus player at some point, maybe even a top 100 consensus player. I think he has that type of upside, especially if he has his big senior year. But he reminds me a lot of Mason Graham, Joe, not only from the just physical perspective of what he does on the field, but his background's similar as well. If you remember Mason Graham, he was a 3-star recruit coming out of Servite and was a little bit of an undervalued player, even though he was recruited by some bigger schools. I think Vallejo is very similar in the sense of he's been a little bit undervalued from a recruiting perspective. He's got a similar game, and he's going to end up playing on a major college level and potentially be a difference maker. So I think all those things parlay and are pretty interesting parallels, which is why that I think that this kid is going to be one of the biggest risers in the 2026 class when all is said and done.
Folks, comment your thoughts below on Vallejo. Hit that like button and subscribe. We'll talk to you later.